Ika was always treated like dead weight. No talent, no skills, and no real purpose in life. Ika discovers he's the only man alive capable of piloting a highly advanced military battle suit technology that, until now, only women could control. An elite all-girls academy dedicated to training battle suit pilots. The moment he steps inside Infinite Strato's academy, every eye locks onto him. Desperate for something familiar, Ika searches the room and spots his childhood friend Hoki. Relief hits him until she looks straight through him and turns away coldly. That single glance hurts more than the stares of every other girl combined. Before he can think it through, the instructor orders him to introduce himself. Ika freezes. Out of nowhere, his older sister Shiu storms into the room and smacks him for embarrassing the family name, shouting about how weakness clearly doesn't run in their blood. Moments later, the truth is revealed. Shiu isn't just his sister, she's their new combat instructor. A former national representative from the very first Infinite Stratos tournament. The room explodes with excitement. Why would someone like her give up glory just to teach? As Ika argues with his sister, the other students begin to connect the dots. Is she the reason he can pilot a suit? Is his power inherited or hidden? While everyone confidently agrees, Ika just stares ahead, completely lost like he needs subtitles to survive. When the bell rings, the real nightmare begins. Surrounded by girls watching him like a trapped animal, Ika finally realizes something terrifying. The next 3 years of his life are going to be absolute chaos, until Hoki suddenly asks to talk. They head up to the rooftop, where the wind is louder than the silence between them. Ika waits for something meaningful, an explanation, an apology, anything. But Hoki just stares off into the distance, clearly as airheaded as ever, with nothing important to say. Trying to break the awkwardness, Ika blurts out that she looks exactly the same as she did 6 years ago. Just as her cheeks start to warm up, the bell rings, brutally ending the moment and calling them back to class. Later that day, Ika flips through the battle suit operation manual and quickly realizes one terrifying truth. He's completely doomed. Sensing his panic, the instructor Maha asks if he needs help. Ika honestly admits he's never been more lost in his life. Maha asks if anyone else feels the same way. Once again, Ika stands alone, mentally buffering while everyone else nods in confidence. After class, a confident blonde student approaches him. She introduces herself as Sicilia, a top-ranking pilot candidate representing England, and proudly mentions she placed first in the entrance exams. When Ika innocently asks what that title even means, the entire class freezes. Sicilia explains that a representative candidate is strong enough to compete internationally, then smugly adds that Ika should feel honored to even be near her, especially since she once defeated an instructor during the exams. Without thinking, Ika casually mentions that he did the same. Sicilia's pride shatters on the spot, and she storms away in pure frustration. Later that evening, Ika finally finds his assigned dorm room. As he opens the door, a female voice demands to know who's there. Before he can respond, Hoki steps out of the bathroom, fresh from a shower, towel barely holding together. Time freezes. She locks eyes with him, panics, grabs her wooden training sword, and immediately tries to take his head off. Ika barely escapes into the hallway alive. Other girls quickly gather outside, suspicious and curious, cornering him with dangerous enthusiasm. Realizing he's about to be torn apart by rumors alone, Ika begs Hoki to let him back inside. Reluctantly, she agrees on strict conditions. They draw an invisible line down the room, carefully scheduling bathroom times. When Ika asks if there are other options, Hoki casually suggests the public showers near the stairs. Ika pauses, then points out that the entire academy is filled with girls. That's when Hoki pokes him with her wooden sword and calls him out for thinking something inappropriate. A short scuffle breaks out, ending with Ika accidentally grabbing onto part of her training gear. Hoki instantly snaps, knocks him out cold, and storms off in embarrassment. Later during lunch, Ika sits with Hoki when several girls join them, eager to chat and get closer. Hoki watches in silence, clearly irritated, before standing up and leaving him behind to enjoy his sudden celebrity status alone. The next day, class begins with a major announcement. The academy needs to choose a class representative for an upcoming inter-class tournament. Before Ika can react, 2 students nominate him. As he tries to refuse, Sicilia explodes in protest, claiming it's humiliating for a male to represent the class. Unable to accept it, she challenges Ika to a formal duel. Ika accepts and casually offers her a handicap. The room erupts in laughter. Everyone reminds him that with Infinite Stratos suits, gender no longer matters in combat. A student suggests he backs out while he still can, but Ika simply says one thing: a man never runs. The instructor schedules the match for the following week, and just before dismissing the class, she drops one final bomb. Since there's no spare unit compatible with him, The academy will be building Ika his own personal battle suit. Some students wonder if Ika is secretly backed by the government. Sicilia steps forward with a confident smile. She says she's relieved. At least now she won't have to fight him using only a training unit while she brings out her personal battle suit. That stops Ika cold. Confused, he asks if she really owns a personal unit. Sicilia proudly confirms it. As he struggles to catch up, another student adds an important detail. The core technology inside those suits, developed by the genius engineer Tabin, has never been publicly revealed. At that name, Ika instinctively glances at Hoki. They're talking about her sister. Tabin had always refused mass production. She created only a limited number of cores, distributing them strictly to governments and major organizations for research purposes. The instructor then clarifies that Ika's suit isn't being built for combat dominance. It's being created purely for data collection. That sparks another question. Is Tabin related to Hoki? When the instructor confirms it, a student immediately points out that the government has been actively searching for Tabin's whereabouts and asks Hoki if she knows anything. Hoki shuts it down instantly. She says she's not interested and has nothing to say. Ika senses tension but can't figure out what really happened between the sisters. Class continues and the instructor shifts focus back to the Infinite Stratos system, explaining that a suit isn't just equipment, it synchronizes with its pilot and should be treated as a partner. One student jokingly asks if that means romantically. The room laughs while the instructor suddenly grows sentimental, quietly wondering what that kind of bond must feel like. After class, Ika asks Hoki to eat lunch with him. She refuses, so he grabs her hand and drags her along anyway. At the cafeteria, Ika finally admits the truth. He asks her to teach him how to pilot properly, because he doesn't want to get destroyed in a duel by a girl. Hoki scolds him for getting provoked so easily. Still, he keeps begging. Another student suddenly offers to train him instead, claiming more experience. But Hoki immediately shuts that down, saying she'll handle it herself. When the girl insists she's a senior and more qualified, Hoki casually reveals one detail. She's Tabin's sister. The reaction is instant. The girl stiffens then quietly leaves. Later during training, Ika drops his wooden sword almost immediately. Panting and barely standing, he looks completely worn out. Hoki stares at him and asks how he managed to get this weak. When he admits he hasn't trained at all in the last 3 years, she doesn't hesitate. She schedules 3 straight hours of training after school. Ika tries to argue that he really needs to focus on learning about the battle suit. But Hoki cuts him off. That's not what he needs right now. Later that evening, Hoki finds herself thinking back on the training. She wonders if she was too harsh on him, but quickly convinces herself it was necessary. He lost far too easily. As memories of their childhood training resurface, she feels a strange excitement at the thought of training alone with him again the next day. She brushes it off, telling herself it means nothing. She's just helping a slow classmate. On the day of the duel, Ika finally asks Hoki when she plans to teach him how to use the battle suit, since all they've done all week is kendo training. Hoki answers that she had no choice because his suit wasn't ready yet, but Ika argues that he could have at least learned the basics without it. Before the argument goes any further, an announcement cuts them off. Ika's suit has finally arrived. The instructor orders him to suit up immediately, explaining that the arena is only available for a short time, meaning he'll have to fight without any rehearsal. As the doors open and Ika touches the suit, his body reacts instantly. He flinches, realizing it feels completely different from the first time. If you loved this anime story and want to know what happens next, drop a comment below and I'll make part 2 just for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.